Ladies and gentlemen, we just keep getting more and more. This hype train can't be stopped. I am so ungodly excited. We got some new gameplay coming from good old IGN. Thank you kindly for just getting the exclusive, I suppose, although they've always had a good relationship, I think, with Gearbox. But we have so much to talk about. We have new gameplay for guns. We have new gameplay of the story. We also have new gameplay from some of the various classes, and man, do they ever sound weighty and strong. And the weapon variety and spell variety look palatable, like actually amazing. Not just kind of like slight tweaks, but instead fundamental changes for the way the weapons interact with the world. Of course, utilizing the whole fantasy setting. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into this. Alright, so the gameplay's playing in the background. We'll go into the specific stuff in a minute, but the gameplay and the environments look incredible. Like super good. Like, I was surprised. I thought we were just gonna get like Borderlands 3. This looks like Borderlands 3 with better lighting, effects, and maybe they're just utilizing the fantasy tropes more, giving them the ability to have more like color and variation within the worlds, but they look great, like great. And the spells and the effects, that's something that Gearbox has always been pretty good at, though, is the good old effects being absolutely mental. Now, what I mean by the gameplay is, well, kind of like this. Does that not sound so fucking metal, dude? The Berserker just throwing his weight around, just grinding things up. And that's exactly, I think, the feeling that you want to get when you're using that heavy-hitting class. Also, or apparently if you have two-handed weapons, they're going to have increased range. But if you don't have two-handed weapons, like a dagger or a one-handed sword, you're going to be able to like lunge and slide into people. And also, just in case you guys were wondering, there's plenty of cases in this whole gameplay trailer where they're showing you the thing that's Gearbox is the best at, I think, which is variability. So essentially, your melee weapons can have different effects. We don't know if there's going to be elemental effects or what the extent of those effects on your melee weapons are going to be. They're just going to have some variation there, maybe some goodness attached to the parts of the weapon, like the blade and the hilt and stuff like that, like the guns have, where it can increase like the fire rate by a little margin, but still enough if you add it all up together. But yes, variability on the melee weapons, we've seen that in spades, but we also now know that they're going to grant you an effect, maybe like attack speed, maybe like cut purse, which is going to give you some ammunition back whenever you hit someone with melee, which is going to be cool. That's not confirmed, just a thought. We also have the guns having insane variability this time, more so than ever, it seems like. The guns have like weird heat seeking, and now they also seem like they have weird arc shots, like a volley or a meteor barrage. It looks incredible. But this time around, spells, which are kind of in the grenade slot, also have variability now as well. That's something that we gotta see some more gameplay than we ever have, which it does look like your grenades and wands and stuff like that, and your maybe staffs, anything to do with magic does seem like it's kind of synonymous with the same thing. So it's not going to be like you have hand magic and you also have a wand, but they're kind of in the same slot. I imagine giving you different effects though. So for instance, in the trailer we see this meteor barrage, and you have variability on those meteor barrages, meaning it can maybe have AoE, but it also could have the one that this trailer has, which is basically the ability to do a singularity. So when you cast this magic spell, it's going to call down a giant meteor blast, and this one seemingly has a singularity pull, which is pretty dope. But they also clarified how magic is going to work within Wonderlands, seemingly very similar to certain action skills. Essentially, your magic is in the same place as your grenade now, but you have a cooldown on whatever spell you use. But some spells can have multiple charges to expend, and there are going to be various ways, whether it be through the weaponry that you're using, the skill tree that you're progressing down, etc., that's going to decrease the cooldown for these spells. I can guarantee this is probably going to be some big part of the spellcaster playstyle, because it's the main thing in the build. I feel like if this is the case, then you could kind of mix and match. You could have one hand do like massive hitting, drop a nuke level damage on enemies, and then you could have your offhand just do expending charges, essentially. Which sounds pretty nice. It was a way to kind of like have one spell that just kind of has a ton of charges, can kind of nerf down the tinier enemies, and then to have another spell in your left hand that casts like a giant meteor, but it's on a huge cooldown. So it's cool to have more information about how magic works. I thought it might have been like some sort of AP point situation, but it seems like no, you just cast your ability, and then it's going to start slowly ticking back up, similar to how some of the action skills work in the game, like Zane's Zane's hand or cannon on his shoulder. You hit it once, it throws off what it does, and then it starts ticking back up. If you have a lot of cooldown, it can take like 5 seconds to come back, but that's just Zane being insane. Anyways, so another piece of magic that we've seen which looked amazing was just this lightning cast wand. I think it's like your quick cast ability. Not only that, but we also seen a fire hawk, or a dark magic, blood magic kind of a bloodwing hawk that actually spews out tiny little baby hawks that deal damage. Now the cool part about this, as well as a dark magic weapon that we'll see in a couple minutes, that actually starts giving little red sparks that people are assuming is going to be lifesteal. And I wonder if maybe the Graveborn could get more out of those little red sparks, maybe giving you a decrease to your casting ability so you can cast more, maybe giving you certain damage bonuses. It's too cool. And this one I'm at odds with. So there's this badass, I'm not sure if it's a weapon or if it's a spell. I think it's a weapon. There's this shotgun where you have this giant rune on the ground wherever you aim, and then it basically shoots out a volley of arrows up into the air and then comes down. And it seems like wherever the person shoots and hits, there's the arrows coming down. So I think this is a shotgun magical kind of AoE effect. It could be a spell, and then this happens to also have a weird like arching shotgun thing. I don't know whether to put this in the gun highlight or the magic highlight, a little bit of both maybe. Okay, so on to the weapons. The weapons are looking like crazy depth. That was one worry, is that I was actually worried that the weapons weren't going to have as much brevity because there's magic to kind of lean back on, and maybe they had to hedge their bets and bet on one. But nope. The weapons seem as crazy and as free as ever, or than they've ever been, really. Anyway, so the first one we see is a classic pistol that basically shoots out a volley of bullets. But what's interesting is those bullets heat seek in, and I don't know if it's because of the weapon perk, or this weapon might be a Atlas kind of weapon that has that heat seeking ability, but hopefully less annoying than having to crank a dart into somebody, because no one ever did that. It was way annoying, and the only Atlas legendary weapons that people used were the ones that auto did that. So it wasn't a nightmare to do. Anyways, my point being is this weapon looks really cool and is most definitely at least a unique. And then again, just all the other kind of passive weapons that have like these crazy ordained like runes on the side. I don't know what is legendary anymore and what is just cool fantasy gibberish. You know, I'm stuck in this hellish loop. So yeah, and again, we mentioned that shotgun, that the more I look at it, the more I absolutely think that's what's happening, is it's the shotgun that's the magic effect, which is a really OP, cool looking magic effect. Anyways, of course, we also see various like heat-seeking kind of things, which is interesting. Also, there's kind of like too many weapons just to kind of talk about. The one that I do want to talk about is the dark magic and the sniper one that we see in like quick succession. So the dark magic SMG, every time we shoot, we're getting particles back, which is again potentially giving you that healing effect that we talked about, that life still built in maybe to dark magic. When we see the sniper gameplay, he like launches this orb and then he shoots the orb and then it starts dealing damage. I don't know why he shoots the orb. I don't know if it's trying to detonate it and just had no luck, or if you have to shoot it and it gains more damage as it progresses forward. Maybe. I don't know enough right now, but we're going to have undead or skeletons that now are really weak to cryo. So now cryo actually has a counterpoint within Borderlands, where cryo used to just be something that increases critical damage and that's it. Where now cryo is the weakness to undead enemies, which is a white health bar. And poison damage is now going to be weak to armor, which is the same as corrosive, but it's kind of cool that it makes more sense than corrosive ever did, frankly. The ability to just surpass the armor entirely and just kill the person inside the suit with poison makes far more sense than some sort of hellish melting thing that would just melt through anyways, so yeah, weapons look too cool. The melee, we don't get too much more, unfortunately. We just get to see that you can kind of like chain melee attacks, and if you're playing the Berserker, melee seemingly is feels pretty damn good, at least visually and audibly. But one thing that they did mention, just to kind of round off the whole gameplay loop, is that the gameplay feels very fluid, and it feels like seamless. Like you can get into a flow and just constantly keep using your abilities, use your guns, use your class abilities more than ever now. Coupling with that, now you have everybody almost has a companion that is going to do a thing, which is beyond cool. So to me, I can't wait to talk to you guys about the class. I think I'm gonna run. The small, very small part of the story that we did see looked pretty damn endearing. In Borderlands 3, it did feel like they were trying to get to a special point. It's like they had like a plan where we need to get these characters here, and then that's why our character was just kind of never in the plot, but was the main point of the plot. But never really looked at in the yeah. Anyways, they have to get to A to B in Borderlands 3, I think. But in Tiny Tina's Wonderland, it looks like the only objective is to be creative and to have fun. And I'm happy to see that this nonsensical, crazy shit is going to be a part of it. But it also doesn't seem to be too slow, at least in this one instance. That's something that everyone's also afraid of as well. Is the story going to be dragging on while Tina's rambling about craziness? And that's really cute and endearing the first time. But maybe not the fourth playthrough. You're like, all right, Tina, can we shut up, please? Can we please shut up and move on? So it is cool that it seems to be quite quick. It's like a 5-second or 10-20 second little chat, and then you're into the killing again. And anyways, one last thing. I keep saying that. One last thing that I really wanted to mention is how absolutely impressed I am at the environments. They look beautiful, but also the monster variety, and the monsters actually having more than just being this generic bandit that hides behind cover and shoots at you, or a Molly-Wand trooper that just kind of, you know, does some AoE hit for you. And yeah, it just doesn't really seem that too crazy. But the enemy variety in this one's amazing. They're chucking boulders at you. There's this fucking like phoenix dragon that like burns himself alive into a ball of fire and throws himself at you, and then gets like reincarnated in another spot. It's super cool. And yeah, again, the environments seem crazy, and it seems like the levels are more open than we're used to. Like huge maps that you can kind of jump around and feel free by, which seems way too cool. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, needless to say, I am so excited for just about everything that we've seen in this trailer. It looks too damn cool. The story surprised me in the little that we've seen of it. I love hearing that the gameplay feels fluid and wonderful. I liked hearing more about understanding how the magic is now basically cooldowns. So you expend your magic and you can burn all your charges, or you can burn just one big spell, but then you're on cooldown for a long time. And there being various ways to decrease cooldown that we don't know all of them yet, nor if there's one class that can kind of set you free from really reveling in the insanity of magic. Hopefully there is. It's probably Spellcaster, but anyways. But the weapons look cool, the characters look incredible, like the environments look like next level. I am super excited. I cannot wait to talk to you guys more about this when eventually we get some more gameplay, which apparently they're queuing up to release a lot with IGN, which I cannot wait to see, talk about, and explore with y'all on this channel. Hopefully you'll put out with me in the downtime so that we can get to that. And again, I still want to make that video talking to you guys about what the classes that I think, at least on the surface level, have potential, which of course when the game really launches, it's probably going to be something that no one really expected. Anyways, hopefully you do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. We do stream a lot on the channel. Hopefully you can tune into one of those. We stream on YouTube and Twitch at these given days. Thank you kindly for your time. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, like I said, and goodbye, my friends. Also, if you managed to engage with the video at all, thank you so much, and bye.